Now that coaching is underway and the students are starting their climb, I'd like to introduce you to SVB, one of the program's coaches.
My name is SVB, I'm 26. I am mostly a tank player, although recently I dabbled in everything. My peak is top 500, but nowadays I tend to hang around master most of the time. So I started Overwatch pretty much from release. I didn't play any beta, but I played once it released. I think the first season, obviously, I can't remember the exact rank I was because the first season they had the weird number things. But the first season they had ranks, I think I was gold. Then I got stuck in platinum for a while. Then I got stuck in diamond for the longest time. I was in diamond for the longest time. It felt like forever. And I went through that same journey that most players go through, which is you kind of get to one rank and you think, just let me get to this next rank. It'll be everything I ever want. I promise. Like if I'm gold, I just want to get to plat. It'll be everything I ever want. I promise. And when I got to diamond, I was kind of just disheartened. I was wondering if that was my skill cap as it was. But then I really knuckled down. I VOD reviewed. I watched like every pro game I could find. You know, I watched like every guide I could find. And eventually I climbed to Masters. And then once I got to Masters, I got to GM and then straight to top 500 that season. I think what really drew me to Overwatch was the fact that it was a good mix of MOBA and shooter. In fact, Overwatch is pretty much the first competitive shooter I've ever played. I never had any background in FPSs, and the only serious gaming background I had was like a little bit of dabbling in MOBAs, in particularly Dota, back when Dota was just going as 3.7 and All-Stars. And even that, I never really played with much seriousness. I would just play like a few evenings with some friends and stuff. But Overwatch, I just kind of, the minute I got it, I was like, this is great. This is exactly the game I want. This is perfect. Like I can play an FPS game that's fun and dynamic and engaging, but with my garbo aim, I can still actually contribute to the team. Like I'm not useless. I'm not getting outplayed all the time. I'm not getting outsniped all the time. I can pick a character like Reinhardt. I can pick a character like Winston and still, be a real asset to my team, be a shot caller, be a leader, be a difference maker. So yeah, I think the fact that I could have characters like Reinhardt and Winston that I could play and still feel involved in this high skill, high-paced FPS game was kind of what drew me to it. After I reached top 500, it became like a what next moment where I knew I didn't want to go pro. And after reaching top 500, it was just like this, well, what do I do now? And someone suggested that I make YouTube content or guides because they felt I was good at explaining stuff to people and I was knowledgeable. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I really enjoyed it because I really enjoy thinking about the game analytically. Generally in life, I like thinking about things as analytically as I can. Once I got into coaching, I just realized that there was so few decent resources on YouTube or anywhere that actually helped your average player get better. I think most content, even now, is largely entertainment content, which is perfectly fine. Like, we're all here to have fun at the end of the day. But still, the vast majority of content is like streamer highlights, pog plays, and, just watching and enjoying someone else. Whereas I think the majority of people are playing in plat and gold and just trying to get better, and there's very few resources to actually help them. So just kind of seeing that, I felt like I could fill that gap. I could really do something that the community needs, which is to help people bridge that gap from gold and plat and even below to getting to these higher ranks where you're now really in the big leagues. Like once you get to diamond, you're in the top 10%. So I think if I can get someone to diamond, that's my job done. I see that as my job. Beyond that, there's obviously master and GM where you're really looking to really get good, and after that obviously you're looking to go pro and all that. But for me, I just see myself as someone who is there to guide the majority of the player base over the hump that the majority of them face. I think I'm definitely a lot more soft than other coaches are, which is a pro and a con. I think with any coach, you have to kind of figure out what you want and figure out which coach is best for you. The same way that we all learn in different ways, right? Some people are oral learners, some people are visual learners, some people, need to write stuff down all the time. I think coaching is a bit similar, and I tend to be someone who's, not that I'm going to shy away from criticizing it all. Like, I think you would be doing a huge disservice to your student if you weren't honest with them and weren't just telling them you're doing this badly and you really need to change this drastically. Otherwise, you're not going to make any progress. But I'm not like going to yell at you. I'm not going to like rage at you for making mistakes. I just try to be understanding. I'd like to think I just try to be, and I think also probably what makes me different to certain other coaches is I tend to be very focused on mentality as much as gameplay. I tend to focus on how a player is approaching both the game and the process of learning as much as they are focusing on their own mistakes and their gameplay, because I think the best thing, in my opinion, that I can do as a coach is the whole teach a man to fish proverb. You can coach someone and you can tell them all their mistakes, or you can coach them how to coach themselves. And I think that's what I try to do. I try to unpack the reasons why they're stuck, the reasons why they're not progressing, and then help them figure out, okay, well, the reason you're not progressing is because you're too stubborn. Like, you can't fathom the idea that maybe you're the common denominator in all these losses that you're having, or you're not you're too focused on X type of thing when you're not focusing enough on this, or you're very inconsistent. You're not playing at the right times. You're switching heroes constantly. You're going from tank to DPS to support game after game, and you're losing all the progress you're making. So just things like that. I think my coaching style is probably more focused on, I guess you could call it holistic. It's a holistic approach of trying to understand the player as much as I understand their gameplay. The longest I've coached a student consistently for before was a period of a month, and that was also that felt quite intensive, because I was kind of in the player stream like almost every day. They were streaming, I'd say 3 to 4 days a week on top of our coaching sessions, which I also streamed. So they were streaming quite often, and I was there in most of their streams, and then we'd have a VOD review every week, and in between I'd be giving him additional tips and things like that. So that was quite intense. This one probably won't be as intensive, but it is over a longer period. So I'm excited. I hope that I can really help the player improve. I'd really love for the 3 months to feel like a very significant 3 months for the player, and feel like they really grew and changed a lot. I think I've always been good with understanding people. From kind of an early age, I always felt like I was good at listening and understanding and analyzing things, and that's kind of just been a theme of my life, I think. And I had a real fascination with psychology when I was doing my high school, and I almost took it as a degree. In the end, I took English literature, which also helped me, because my degree was all about breaking down things and understanding the meaning behind actions and words and events. And I think that's kind of the approach I take to Overwatch and coaching as well, which is understanding things and really trying to understand people. I think that sense of recognizing that at the end of the day, you're not playing against 12 heroes or 11 other heroes. You're playing against 11 other people, and you're a person, and everybody has their own complexity, their own nuances. As much as carrying in gameplay wins you games and gets you SR, so does understanding the lobby you're in, so does managing the lobby you're in, so does managing the teammates you're put with. And I think mastering that element of Overwatch is also important, and something that's often neglected. I respect my fellow coaches. I think they're all really cool. If anything, I think I'm the underdog coach, but we'll see. Maybe I pull a surprise or two. We'll see. Hopefully my student can go a lot. But yeah, I look forward to working with all the coaches as well. Those are, guys I really respect, and Forgiving, I obviously am a good friend with. So yeah, I hope we can get some guys out of plat, adopt some bronzes, and take them to GM, and let's have a bit of fun.